Hi, folks. I'm here with the Service and Windows Cloud Engineering team, and in this episode, we will be talking about AI PCs, how Windows 365 works on top of them with Copilot, the new Windows app, boot, and switch. So let's get started. Hi folks, welcome to another Windows in the Cloud episode. This time a very special one, as it's the last one of the season. So please make sure to subscribe on our Windows IT Pro YouTube channel to stay up to date about all the latest news of Windows in the Cloud, Windows 365, and Azure Virtual Desktop as well. So before starting, a lot of magic is happening in this episode. So Tyler will explain a lot of magic we do on PCs with AI, but I want to start with a magic trick myself. So look at this. Tyler, this is a magic rope, and it is now happening. Well, you need to impress me, Tyler, with more innovation here.
I don't know. You've set the bar pretty high there, Christian. I think I got my work cut out for me.
Hey, great to have you here, Tyler. Can you explain a little bit to the audience, like what your role is and what you do at Microsoft in the Surface organization?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So I've been with Microsoft for, I guess it'll be 13 years here soon. A majority of that with the Surface team. Played a variety of roles inside of Surface, been in the field for a bit, and most recently I work on our Surface commercial experiences team. That means is my job is to be the ears of Surface for our large commercial customers, hearing what's working, what's not, where what improvements do they want to see, what are areas where we can build new experiences for them, and then help drive those ideas and experiences through the product management cycle, build them into our products all the way up to the point to when we get to deliver them back to those same customers.
Well, that's a mouthful and really great. So I'm really looking forward to like what you're gonna present today. And I hear a lot of things on like the news and everything around AI PCs, Copilot Plus, of course, Windows 365, all these things coming together. So can you explain the audience a little bit about like what's AI PCs and what's the history behind it to come to this point today?
Yeah, thanks. In order to explain almost any topic, I think it's worth doing a little short history lesson, going back in time just a bit. And that is, we've all heard a lot about AI recently, but as you can see here, right, this is not new to Microsoft. It's not new to Surface. There have been some activities that Microsoft has done that have been public that you've seen happen in the wild, you've read about online, but Surface has also been incorporating AI and ML into our product making for a long time, whether that's in how we manage, the charging cycles on your device, or through, dedicated hardware and cameras. You can see one there behind me, and ultimately through things like Windows Studio Effects, which maybe you've had the chance to use. So AI is not new to Surface, it's not new to Microsoft, but now is the right time for us to really bring those new experiences, AI enlightened experiences, to our hardware products. And so as you and I think about AI, it's easy to think about ChatGPT and Copilot and all of the other ultra large language models, which are pretty squarely cloud-driven AI experiences. Huge amounts of power, data processing, all of the work that you can only do at massive scale. On the other end of the spectrum, we have these highly specialized, specifically trained models running on local hardware. And that's really where Surface comes into this conversation. We've got these models that are built and trained on the hyperscale of Azure that are specifically optimized for the microphones, for the speakers, for the cameras that are in these devices. And that's a good lens of how Microsoft views AI, right? It's a continuum. There are certain workloads that make sense to run on the hyperscale where you can only do that in Azure. And there are other times, whether it's for speed or for cost or for privacy, that you get those optimizations of running them locally. And that's what an AI PC and a Copilot Plus PC are really all about, is giving you, the user, you, the IT pro, the flexibility to say, where do you want that AI model running?
Yeah, that's very powerful as well with like cloud computing and local compute, like cloud and client all coming together. So really love this slide, how it kind of bridges AI with offloading to the cloud from the cloud, as well as AI inside your local hardware all coming together. So what's the AI PC exactly all about? And what's that MPU chip that sits in there? Can you explain a little bit more about like that rebalancing between CPU, GPU, and MPU as well?
It's a great question, right? And I can't answer the what is an AI PC question without first doing a very, very small computer science lesson, right? I'm not the expert here, but I'm here to talk about it. If you've bought a PC, maybe ever, you've thought about the CPU. Like, what is the chip running in your device? Is it an Intel? Is it a AMD? Is it a Qualcomm chip? Right? We understand CPU is the brains of the operation. Maybe if you're a creative or you're a gamer, you think about the GPU, the graphics-focused chip, a chip that is designed specifically to be good at doing graphic workloads, whether that's playing a video game or rendering video, photo files, things like that. Got it, GPU. Well, we're really talking about a new class of silicon, and that is a neural processing unit. And that is specific silicon that's in certain devices that is optimized to run these local AI models to bring new experiences to Windows.
Well, thanks for that lesson of explaining what an MPU is and what the purpose of an MPU is as well. And I think there are more benefits like battery life and things like that as part of the AI PC as well as Copilot Plus. So can you explain that a little bit more?
For sure. And I think the first point to this idea of different processors is understanding that each one of those is good at something different. They're optimized to run specific workloads that make sense for them. And as we know, if you're optimized for something, you're going to do it more efficiently. So if you're trying to do a task like blur background or do some on-device noise canceling, you could run that as a model on the top of a CPU or GPU, and we've seen silicon vendors do that. But when you run it in an NPU, which is specifically optimized for it, we're talking significantly less power draw, significantly less heat being put into the system. Which, if we think about battery life, one of the ways we give us better battery is by lowering power draw, by lowering heat put into the system. And so the NPU really delivers those experiences in a way that lowers system overhead and lowers power draw.
Well, that's great. Thanks. And this is a pretty looking device here. And I heard as well that ARM is like being used in those devices. This one is based on Intel. Are there as well devices with NFC chips in there for like passwordless authentication for users with like Windows 365 boot?
That's a great question. And spoiler alert, for later in the episode, you might get to see this done in a demo. But yeah, we have products now that ship with an NFC reader built into the device. There's a variety of use cases for that in healthcare or manufacturing. But what we're really excited to see is how it enables net new boot to cloud experiences where I bring my NFC key and I'm able to log into my device with just a tap and a pin, all configurable by the IT Pro. It enables a new way of sharing devices and enabling boot to cloud on a whole new class of experiences.
Well, this is great, Tyler. Thanks for sharing. But can you tell me a little bit more about the Surface Pro 10 as well as the Laptop 6 as well?
Yeah, absolutely. You may have seen the news back in April when we announced kind of the latest generation of Surface Pro 10 and Surface Laptop 6 with Intel's Core Ultra processors, right? It's a brand new silicon from Intel that incorporates a very capable NPU into their device. These are AI PCs. They carry that moniker, which means they have the NPU performant enough to do those tasks that your users need, that Microsoft can deem this an AI PC. It comes with the Copilot key on the keyboard, along with a variety of other enhancements specifically for the commercial market, like anti-reflective displays and higher performance, significantly performant improvements gen on gen, card readers for certain markets, and more ports on the 15-inch laptop. It was a huge announcement. We're excited to get these devices into our hands of our commercial customers. That's what they've been asking for, and part of what my team has been working on is getting that feedback and solving specific challenges those customers have brought up.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And as well to hear more how that MPU is being used in action. And I heard as well Copilot Plus PCs and how this really kind of AI experience goes to the next level here with like an ARM-based chipset. And can you kind of share more about that as well and how Windows 365 with like switch could help there between that Copilot Plus PC as well as the cloud PC and back?
For sure. All right. Well, so I just told you what we shipped back in April for our commercial customers with Surface Laptop 6 and Surface Pro 10. But we're super excited to announce the next wave of AI on device, and that is with the Copilot Plus PC. You can see here that there are some specific requirements in order to be called a Copilot Plus PC. And we're excited that we've got the new Surface Pro and the new Surface Laptop, which meet these requirements, right? Incredible battery life, incredible on-device AI capabilities that we can't wait to get into the hands of users. So then your other question was, what does this mean for Windows 365? And the awesome point here is that this is running on device, right? So if you've got a Copilot Plus PC that you're using to get to Windows 365, There's a variety of ways to take advantage of the new Windows Studio effects of the NPU running locally to do models optimized from us and models optimized from ISVs and folks who are going to develop on top of this new Copilot Plus scenario, specifically inside of Switch, right, where you've got all of the capability in the local compute and horsepower and experiences built into the device, and then just with a four-finger swipe or through task view, you jump over to your Windows 365 Cloud PC. Those experiences, that camera, those all transition over to your Cloud PC when you use Switch, which is an awesome thing to see. We're excited to see how that gets used by our customers.
Well, that's really amazing, Tyler. And this is awesome innovation. Like, coming back to the innovation and the magic trick, this is real magic happening on the hardware side here. And with Switch in between, you can leverage cloud computing and local compute and bringing it kind of all together. And I want to point out as well that there's more AI stuff coming in the future for Win365 as well. So stay tuned for more AI even when these great announcements are happening. We're just about getting started in changing the way how AI can really help you as an end user as well as an IT admin here. Hey, Tyler, thanks for these great slides and explanation of what AI PC and Copilot Plus PCs are. Anything else you want to say before I'm handing it over to Hillary to talk about the Windows app?
Yeah, just thanks for having me, and honestly excited to see Surface and Windows 365 partner so closely together on experiences like this, and what you're going to hear from Hillary.
Thanks, Tyler. Great to have you back, Hillary, here on the Windows in the Cloud episode. So very excited to have you sharing things all around Windows app. But before you do so, can you explain a little bit to the audience what you do as part of the Windows Cloud engineering team?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for welcoming back, Christian. It's great to be here again. So I'm one of the senior PMs on the client experiences team, and I own the Windows version of the Windows app. Windows app is a new offering that we have with the goal that it will replace all of our in-market clients, consolidate that user experience, and create a consistent and familiar design across platforms. We recently went public preview with Windows app on Windows, web, macOS, and iOS in November. And we're aiming for GA later this year with Android, Windows app on Android as going into public preview as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Windows app. So you see the Windows app as a brand new experience for Windows and other platform clients. We're consolidating nearly 16 clients across those 5 platforms into one per platform, again, to create that consistent user experience and something that feels familiar no matter where you're accessing your cloud resources from. So one of the great new features of the Windows app is that we have the ability for users to customize their homepage. You can see here on my homepage, I've got my favorite devices, my Cloud PC and my AVD desktop, along with some of my favorite apps that I use pretty frequently throughout the day. Now, these aren't static. I can always go and see all of my devices by clicking on the Devices tab. And from here, I can even pin more devices to my homepage. I can also see more of my apps. I have quite a few here. And I can even search and filter the apps by app name, or by workspace. Within this, we also have all of those great features that we see with Windows 365 Cloud PCs. So those device actions that you might be familiar with, like restart, reset, restore, and rename, along with inspect connection. And then from here, we can also pin our Cloud PCs to your taskbar or add it to task view, which is a really great feature for people who use Windows desktops or Windows laptops. All right. And as Tyler just mentioned, we have some awesome new Surface devices for commercial users. Windows app will now be available in box on those devices, which is just the beginning of Windows app being available for everyone, everywhere.
So Hillary, what are the services that the Windows app all supports as that consolidated, unified end-user experience that you just explained?
Yeah, thanks, Christian. That's a great question. So on Windows and web, our Windows app can connect to Windows 365 Cloud PCs, AVD desktops, and remote apps, and dev boxes. And then on macOS and iOS, we also have the ability to support connections to remote desktop services and to remote desktop or peer-to-peer connections. So we've got a wide spread of services across our platforms.
That's amazing. And it saves a lot of maintenance on the IT administrator as well, right?
It does. It does. Again, that consistent user experience means that end users are going to know what to expect when they move from platform to platform, and it's one app for IT admins to manage.
That's pretty amazing, Hilary. And can you shed some light, like what are the other things coming up soon as well? Are there any other platforms coming that are not available right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I said, we went public preview in Windows, Web, Mac OS, and iOS last November, and we're aiming for an Android public preview coming up soon. So keep your ears tuned for that. That'll be a really exciting progress for Windows app.
Hey, thank you, Hilary, for the great explanation of the Windows app. Now I want to translate to Rishi and boot the cloud as well as switch and other enhancements that we did based on those AI PCs and components like NFC chips inside those PCs that Tyler just explained in the beginning of this session. So hi, Rishi. How are you doing? And can you explain a little bit what you're doing as part of the Windows Cloud engineering team?
Hey, Christian. Yeah, thanks very much for having me on the podcast. Yeah, first time for me, so very excited to be here. Yeah, my name is Rishi Pochiraju. I am the PM owner of Windows 365 Boot to Cloud. So I work on the OS integrations team here, and I own Boot to Cloud end to end. So just quickly for the audience, like what is Boot to Cloud? Boot to Cloud is just a way for the end users to sign in directly to their cloud PC without seeing anything physical. So there's no need to sign into the physical PC before getting into the cloud PC.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think it's a game changer, like going straight into a cloud PC without going first to a local PC and then open a client. It's just an easier end user experience for certain scenarios like frontline workers, but as well information workers. So great that you're here and explain a little bit more on kind of what are the kind of new things coming. And the first question I would like to ask you, like, what are the authentication methods that exist in conjunction with Windows 365 boot, as well as the new AI PCs with an NFC chip in there?
Yeah, so when we think about authentication methods, I like to categorize them into kind of three buckets. And this is kind of broadly and not just for cloud PCs. For cloud PCs, especially in boot to cloud mode, there's specific authentication methods that we have, but just in general, there's kind of three categories. So the first one is just password only. So and these kind of go from least secure to most secure. So of course, password only is that's obviously the least secure because it's just a combination of characters in a string, and that's it. So it's something that can be stolen easily. So this is the least secure authentication method. The second one is password plus something else, like an SMS two-factor authentication with the code. So this is a little bit more secure because at least the user has an additional layer of security there, but it's not as secure as the last kind of category, which is fully passwordless authentication. So of course here there's no password to be stolen. This will require some sort of human-computer interaction between user and machine, and this can be in multiple ways. So for example, there's Windows Hello for Business. There's also NFC authentication, which I'll talk about a little bit more. So I think it's also important in boot to cloud mode to make the distinction between the two modes that we have. So we have a shared mode, which anyone can log in if they have a cloud PC, and then the second one is dedicated mode. So in the dedicated scenario, we do have Windows Hello enabled, but in the shared mode, until this year at least, we only had username and password authentication. And now we have another way to get in to your cloud PC in the shared mode, which I'd like to talk about a little bit more.
Yeah, thanks, Rishi. And with the security focus within Microsoft, we pre-enable MFA already for customers when they create new tenants, and even existing tenants right now get MFA enabled as a revisited focus to help customers to join that journey in a secure zero trust environment. So very great to hear that directly from you as well. I want to really see it in action and how you configure Enter ID and do it in a secure way possible that you just explained as well. And eventually as well, see boot on an AI PC in action too. And a switches feature as well, as you probably prepared, which I heard between the sidelines here. So can you show it in a demo as well to the IT Pro audience here?
Yeah, so before I get into the demo, I just want to point out that there's a couple of things physically that you'll need. So one is you'll need an endpoint that's configured in boot to cloud shared mode. So that's number one. Number two is you'll need an NFC security key. So this could be YubiKey, it could be something else. And then the third thing is you'll need an NFC reader. So in the latest Surface Pro endpoints that Tyler had showed earlier, it's actually built in. So there's nothing additional that you need. So in that case, you only need two things. But if you don't have a built-in NFC reader, then you'll need something externally. So there's two, potentially three things that you need. So yeah, I'm happy to show how you can actually configure NFC login that's passwordless. The first place where, if you as an IT admin want to enable this, is in the Entra Admin Center. So you'll just have to go under Protection to Authentication Methods. Under Policies, there's FIDO2 Security Key, and you'll just have to make sure that this is enabled. So just toggle the radio button there, hit Save. That's all you have to do in the Entra Admin Center. And then let's go over to Intune. So within Intune, click on Devices, go down to Enrollment, and then under Windows Hello for Business, it'll be all the way at the bottom here. There's just going to be a toggle for security keys. So scroll all the way down, and we'll just have to make sure that security keys for sign-in is enabled. So this is the tenant-wide policy. Hit Save on that. And then the last thing to do is if you have an identity policy that targets specific users, you'll just have to make sure that security key sign-in is enabled here. It looks like it is enabled for me already, but let's just confirm that here. Yes, it's enabled. So from the admin side, that's actually all you need to do. On the end user side, to enable this, you just have to go to aka.ms/mysignins. And you can see all the ways that are used to authenticate for yourself. This is, again, on the end user side. And all you have to do is add a sign-in method, which is a security key in this case, an NFC device. Hit Next. And then from here, it's just up to the end user to go through the configuration setup. So I'm not going to show all that, but after that, it's all on the end user on their endpoint just to configure whatever security key that they have.
Well, that's great, Rishi. I even learned about authentication methods and how to configure it myself. And now I want to see how Boot really operates with like NFC in action. So I think you have a demo here that you want to show, right? Like what's going on there?
Yeah, so I just have a video of the end user experience here. So I'll just play a quick video showing you how it works.
Here I have my YubiKey NFC. These are great for when you have dozens of people who need to log on to a single device. You want to maximize security and minimize time to log in. I just tap it here on the corner of my device, add in my PIN for two-factor authentication. And with Windows 365 boot, in a couple seconds, you can see that we're signing into my cloud PC. Once I've logged in, we can see my full desktop on my Windows 365 cloud PC that's persistent and always ready for me.
So as you can see in that demo, it's super quick and easy as an end user to use the NFC logon. It'll probably save a lot of time over the course of multiple logons during a day, during a week. And of course, you have the security benefit that we had discussed, at the top of the segment as well.
It is great. And I saw as well in that session that Copilot works inside the cloud PC. So you really have that kind of AI PC connectivity to Copilot back and forth too. So really cool. But one thing I want to see in action as well as Windows 365 switch on those new AI PCs and bring the benefits of the local PC with like the new MPU and things like that together with like the cloud with cloud PCs and switching between those two PCs, either cloud PC and local PC. Can you show that as well?
Yeah, of course, Christian. Yeah, happy to show a demo of Windows 365 switch as well. So with the task view, you can actually switch from the physical PC to the cloud PC and vice versa. So here we are inside of the cloud PC, and then we're just going to switch back to the local desktop. As Hilary mentioned as well in the Windows Up demo, you can add your cloud PCs to switch. The reason that you might want to do this is to access the AI features that you had mentioned, Christian. So within the cloud PC, you don't have access to the local shell, so it won't be possible to use the new AI features. But here you can easily switch between your cloud PC and your physical PC and use those features.
Well, that's amazing, Rishi, and really nice consolidated experience, which is now in GA. So thanks for showing that, and yeah, great to have you here as well. Well, this is amazing. Learned so many things, as well as hopefully the audience listening and watching this episode. So first of all, before we wrap up, how can people stay in touch with you and maybe learn more about the things they have been seeing today as well? So Tyler, can you go first?
Absolutely. Thanks, Christian. If you want to learn more about what we've talked about today, feel free to check out the Surface blog that's linked below. There's a bunch of content there about the new devices, all the new experiences, and it's a great place to get all information about Surface devices for commercial users.
Really cool. And how can people stay in touch with yourself, Tyler?
Awesome. Yeah, if you want to get in touch with me, you can look me up on LinkedIn, Tyler Ross. You can find me there working at Microsoft. My title has something about Surface and product management. And also, I work with the broader Surface commercial team. So if you've got a relationship with Microsoft, ask your points of contact. They'll find a way to get information to me or to my team so we can get that feedback and build better products moving forward.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. And Hillary, how can people learn more about the Windows app and stay in touch with you?
Absolutely. Yeah. So the best way to learn more about the Windows app is to go to aka.ms/Windows app. There's a ton of great content there, how to acquire it, how to use it. And we're adding more constantly. So that's a great place to go for resources on Windows app. If you want to stay in touch with me, I'm on LinkedIn, Hillary Braun. You can message me, follow me, get in touch. I'd love to hear from our users and customers about how they're experiencing Windows app.
Oh, great. And what about you, Rishi? Anything to share, or how can people stay in touch with you?
I guess you can't because I don't have any public-facing social media. So if you want to get in touch with me directly, I guess you're out of luck. But as far as learning more about the Boot to Cloud, the best place to learn about that would be just on learn.microsoft.com and searching for Boot to Cloud. We've got docs all over the place there. So we got a lot of content there. There's also external blog posts that I would encourage you to read for very specific use cases like the NFC configuration. So be sure to check those out as well as our official doc site.
Well, thanks, Rishi. And I definitely going to help you setting up that LinkedIn or social media account as well afterwards. Hey, thanks everyone for being here. Had a lot of fun, learned a bunch as well as the audience. And let's wrap this up. And hopefully you can come back next time with some other new cool announcements coming from Surface, Windows app end user experiences, and Windows integrations that you, Rishi, explained today as well. As well as thank you for watching, and please ensure to stay up to date to all the latest news of Windows in the Cloud at windowsinthecloud.com and watch all the previous episodes there as well. So thanks for watching and hope to see you next time.